Law of attraction, the magic of doing nothing. The law of attraction teaches it is our energy that creates our experience. Many people take that to mean it is like some magical force where we don't have to do anything. That is actually kind of true, but there is a bit more nuance to it. When our energy is all nice and aligned with the things we would like to show up in our life, the role of action carries much less importance. We don't have to make anything happen. Lots of things come together quite nicely. When we do take action, it is from a completely different space, like completely. Nothing has been my MO in this jungle life. This post was naturally inspired by my jungle living, where I haven't been doing very much of anything at all. And the benefit has been tremendous. There is no internet here, so I am not doing anything business related, though I can't say I did all that much before, to be honest. I have gone online once a week to publish my post and podcast, check emails and whatnot, and that is the plan moving forward. This amounts to a few hours at best. And I do indulge in a bit of TV. The new season of Transparent is on Amazon and I'm a big fan. Caught the first few episodes last week. I write my blog post for the week when inspiration strikes. There are some books here, so I have been spending a good chunk of my time reading. I meditate at least twice a day. I eat breakfast early in the morning, and aim to get my very cold shower and dinner in before it gets dark because there is no electricity. Showering by candlelight doesn't hold much appeal somewhere like here, and it would make that uncomfortable cold water even more so, and cooking is kind of a pain. Eating is kind of the highlight of my day. Walking to town on the regular ain't happening because it is long, tough walk. There is nowhere to go and nothing to do. Lately I have been taking more walks, and every evening I do my own little mix of stretching, yoga and Pilates. Sometimes in the mornings too. While not spending enough time together, or lack of communication was never an issue in my relationship, I feel that Ryan and I have been spending more quality time together, and bonding more strongly. There has been some inspiration regarding products I would like to create, and I have been fleshing that out in my trusty little notebook, where I also do written affirmations every morning. I am a big fan of writing things down with pen and paper. This isolation, simple living, lack of internet and what have you, hasn't been as challenging as I thought. Obviously I am about 3 weeks into a 9-week stint, so maybe that will change. I have my moments of boredom for sure. Sometimes I wish my digs were a bit more luxurious, they are super basic. I could do without all the bug bites. I have yet to get used to the freezing showers, and have to psych myself up each and every time I step under that water. With the canopy, it actually doesn't get all that hot back here, so I don't need that relief all that much. Like I said not a few hundred words ago, this experience has been benefiting me in countless ways in such a short time. I just knew this was where I was supposed to be, and I'm glad I didn't let my mind's anxieties and objections overpower that inner knowing. This benefit has allowed me to keep my focus more on these good things I am getting out of it, rather than focusing excessively on what I don't like, and that's a big triumph for me. And yeah, I know that a lot of people aren't in a position where they can remove themselves from the world for 2 whole months. But it doesn't have to be that excessive to reap the benefits. The key is that when we do allow ourselves that time, we really allow it. The key is being willing to do nothing, when our mind is screaming at us that we should be working harder, that we should keep going despite the pain and frustration, that we must keep forcing, controlling and manipulating. Doing nothing brings clarity. The more clarity we have, the easier it gets to manifest and shift our energy. The better we know ourselves, the easier it is to follow the path we actually want to follow. We just know it's the one for us. The more clarity we have about what we want, the easier it is to make the changes and decisions that support getting what we want. It is easier to let go of the people, circumstances and behaviors that don't support it. The clearer we are about who we are and what we want, the less weight we put on the opinions of others, the less the judgments and criticisms bother us, because we know at the end of the day, we're doing what's right for us. This clarity chips away at the idea that other people, for one reason or another, must know better than us what is best for us and how we should live our life. All of this bodes very well for manifesting because it cuts down so much of the crap that creates an energy of stuckness, confusion, fear and doubt. This clarity helps us figure out what we really, truly want, and usually leads to the pleasant discovery that it is so much more than the specific manifestations your mind has concocted. And in realizing that, it gets a lot easier to loosen up a bit and be more open to what can show up. Doing nothing opens a space for all sorts of good stuff to come in. If our reality is created through our energy and not through action, it makes perfect sense the benefit of this nothingness. In doing nothing, we are not engaged in activities that are actually doing more harm than good. In doing nothing, we are not trying to force any specific outcome. We are not working from a space oozing with lack of trust that things can come together for us in a way that be much quicker, easier and less painful than whatever plan we have come up with. A lot of resistance gets dropped in this pulling back, and it is this resistance and forcing that really gets in the way, more than any limiting beliefs or lack of positive energy you may be flowing toward a desire, in my opinion anyway. If we want that divine assistance, from God, Source, the universe or whatever you want to call it, we have to let it in. We can't insist on doing things the old way until we manifest something to prove this other way is the more valid option. If we want to make it more of a habit to work from a space of inspired action, we have to be willing to pull away from the action that isn't. We have to be willing to work on our inner world. That is the only way the former can make itself known. Over the last couple of weeks, I have gotten so many good ideas for products I want to create, that I think will really take people's understanding of the law of attraction, and their ability to apply the teachings practically in their own life, to the next level. These ideas didn't come because I sat down and said I must come up with a product, and won't leave this spot until I have at least one. They didn't come because I insisted I must create more products because I want to make more money, and I need to make them as quickly as possible so I can make money as quickly as possible. I probably could have come up with something from that space, but it probably wouldn't be very good. They came during the most random moments, often during meditation or just sitting on the hammock, taking in the jungle scenery. They came easily because I wasn't trying to make them come. I set some light intentions that I would like to get some ideas and start putting something together, and that was sufficient. A few days ago, I was thinking that I had outlined some basic elements of a few of them and was feeling a bit of pressure to flesh them out more, and get into more detail. I was feeling a bit lazy. But I fought that urge to let my mind lead me into action. I really didn't want to take action that would come from a space of trying to make something happen. I saw what had happened when working from inspiration, and I knew the time would come when I would feel compelled to do this. And yesterday after my morning meditation, I felt inspired to focus on one of the ideas in particular, and I sat down and did just that. It flowed and it was easy. And all of this perfectly segues into my last and most important point of this matter. Aligning your energy is not doing nothing. Our mind would beg to differ, of course, and naturally so, as it is very oriented towards action as a means of getting things done. If we are not actively engaging in some sort of activity designed to bring what we want to fruition, we are being lazy. If we are not working hard at accomplishing some result, we're not going to get anywhere. We have even developed the insane notion that all that toil is what actually makes us deserving of getting what we want. Now it is important to make the distinction here between aligning your energy to bring about manifestations you find pleasing, and not trying to force things through uninspired action, and thinking you can withdraw from participating in your life directly, and just have stuff happen. I think a lot of people have the latter in mind when working with the law of attraction, and thus find this idea of not having to take action very appealing. There is this hope that the divine will just set everything up for us, and we won't ever have to do anything uncomfortable, take any initiative or make any sort of decision. I know at times, we may feel confused as to when to act or not to act, or whether we are acting from the latter space, but ultimately, we know. It just comes down to the willingness to be honest with ourselves. But anyway, back to the main point here. When we are acting from a space of misalignment, we are really screwing things up and we are truly better off doing nothing. But we really aren't doing nothing when we take those steps back. That is so important to realize, and it can take a bit to get comfortable with that. The various actions we take to shift our energy, whether it be affirming, visualizing, exercising, or engaging in a pleasurable activity, are not doing nothing by any means. Because anything we do that helps change our predominant energy and focus will benefit us tremendously. Like I said earlier, to gather evidence of the benefit of working on our energy, and pulling back when things feel wrong, forced, hard, frustrating, or other ickiness, we have to be willing to give it a real try. To see the tremendous benefit of working on our energy, and how that really is the key, we have to be willing to do what we can to raise that good old vibration of ours, and this nothingness can be one of the most powerful tools, bringing clarity and all that other good stuff I mentioned earlier. Remember the name of the game. We have to really let it sink in that ultimately we are after feelings, and do our best not to do all this feel-good work as some sort of means to an end, but rather make it the end in itself. I know this can be really hard. After all, we want certain things and we are adopting a certain energetic state in hopes this will allow them to show up. And as such, we are constantly looking for some sort of result or reward for our efforts at feeling better. Who cares that we are feeling better? Our stuff still hasn't shown up yet. This being happier is just a waste of time. We are a weird lot, are we not? All of this doing nothing has felt really good to me. I have certainly seen some manifestations as a result, and it's awesome. But the best manifestation is feeling better, happier, lighter, more in touch with my energy, and clearer on what I truly want and value. My aim in being here is certainly to detach from certain things, and get more in touch with the deliberate creator I know myself to be. But over the last couple of weeks, I have come to realize that my biggest goal is just to live life in a different way, and whatever shows up as a result of that is awesome. I just want to be happier and more at peace. I don't want to do these things with the aim of hoping it will get me something, and that is the greatest irony. This is exactly what will bring in all those somethings.